Okay, hi Dominic. So we're going to look at your next website now, which is here. You've sent me the link, koehlerbankruptcy.com. So this is the first time I've visited your site, first time arriving it. So let's see what it's about. Okay, so upon arriving, again, first place I would look, top left. So we can see up here, apologies if I can't pronounce it properly, Koehler law. It's quite static, it's quite plain, it's quite bland, and I have to say that I think the first impression that I get from it is a little bit uninspiring. That's how I feel upon my first arrival. I think that it's nice to see the name up here, Koehler Law, but how exactly, other than bankruptcy, which I can see in the name up here and down here, what other way could you summarize Koehler Law and what you actually specialize in, and can you pop in a tagline under here? I think a tagline, a strapline, it's a great way of sort of bringing a short description of what your website main purpose is to the user, and it's something that you can carry on through your marketing, and to have a tagline or a strapline, like, you know, we have Asda, every little helps, for our Walmart stores, and everyone knows that every little helps goes with Asda. So you could have some sort of tagline or something to describe the main purpose under here. We've also got get your free bankruptcy consultation. Call us 24/7, and then we've got a straight number. So it's nice to know that you're contactable. If you had any particular accreditation to the Law Society or the Bankruptcy Administrators Guild or whatever, could you display them up the top? I think it would be a nice way to actually show that you are accredited to a particular guild or recognised body, to know that you've attained the particular levels of qualifications and that your certification is up to date. So I would display that there. And we've got a contact and FAQ up here, which I can click on later and check that it works. So then we have quite a clear navigation: home, bankruptcy facts, why choose us, client info, contact, FAQ repeated again, newsroom, and how we help. So I think that the main navigation has some quite useful headings. I'm pleased to see that we've got why choose us, because that's quite an important one. Why should I be using you rather than your competitor? And we've got client info. So whether or not that would be some case studies perhaps of people that you have assisted in bankruptcy cases before, I'm not sure. So the next thing that really screams at me is only $70. So that to me would be quite a bargain. I don't know how much other clients would cost, would charge $70. Is that good? Is it in comparison to the standard? What's the average? I don't know. I don't know anything about bankruptcy or how it works. I would imagine that the laws in America are different to the laws in the UK. So hopefully the website will explain the ins and outs, the process, the step by step. We've got a free consultation and then only $70. So presumably the consultation, the initial telephone number, is free, but then I know that I'm only going to pay $70 to file for bankruptcy there and after. I haven't clicked anywhere else on the page yet. You'll see that I've just looked at the information that I can see in this landing area. So it's important that what I see here tells me enough. The one thing I do think is that it's a bit static. I'm not sure what this flag represents. It almost looks like it says Indiana. Perhaps that's the state where this particular business is established. excuse my ignorance because I'm not quite certain. And this chap looks like he could actually be Mr. Koehler, and it's his business, so he's the face of the company. He looks very official and professional, and like he knows what he's doing. I would prefer to see this area with some movement. I think that having it as a static area, you're missing out on the key messages that you can get across to me as a potential customer coming to your site. And I think it would be better to have some sort of fluidity, and it allows level of engagement with the user rather than the static image. So potentially think about changing this area into a slider. Have 3 or 4 slides that represent those key messages that you want to get across to me. If you could only tell me 4 things about your business, what would they be? And put them on a slide with a hyperlink to the relevant page that I would click to be taken further into the website, and it would draw me in to those important pages that you want to tell me about, and you want to encourage the traffic to travel through your site rather than to see this landing page and think, no, that's not for me, I'm off. If you have any social presence as well, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, get them up here. It's always good to have a clear social media presence as soon as you get to the site. So let's go down the page and see what else you've got. So here we go. We've got indeed he is in Indiana bankruptcy lawyer, and we've got there some information. Learn the facts about bankruptcy and begin a future free of the debt that has taken control of your life. Okay, we at Koehler Bankruptcy Law know the bankruptcy is a legitimate option for many. Our primary goal is to help clients through a tough situation. So then we have our free consultation form, which I'm just going to complete as if it's a dummy inquiry, just to make sure that it gets through your through to you. Let's just see if it goes through, and if I'm presented with a message that says it's gone through, hopefully. So okay, so we've got a thank you. Congratulations, you have taken the first step to schedule your free consultation and begin the road to financial recovery. We will be contacting you shortly. And then, okay, so Lloyd Koehler has told us thank you very much. Let's just go back to the home page. I think before I actually filled in this free consultation, I would actually want to read a bit about what is involved. Why should I be contacting you? At this point, I would maybe think that this is a little premature to display this so prominently on the page. To begin with, I want to find out more about your business, and at this stage, unless I came back to the home page right after I'd been through the rest of the website pages, I think it could be a little bit premature to actually have this free consultation box here. I don't know yet what the free consultation is going to involve. Is it a face-to-face meeting? Is it a telephone call? How long will it last? What information do I need? What do I need to expect will happen in the consultation? So at the moment, to have that displayed there could be a bit of a waste of space. This area of the website is really important. The homepage, it should act as a gateway to the rest of the site, and it should tell me pretty much everything I need to know, and that could potentially be just a little bit of a waste to use that area in that manner just yet. We've got to my clients a message from Lloyd Koehler. I think it looks like at the moment that it's just him involved in the team, so I don't know if there are any other people working with him. It says here, our bankruptcy lawyers are ready to answer your questions now. I'm not going to read all of the content of the site just yet. Obviously it would get a bit onerous of you to listen to me read it verbatim, but I will have another look afterwards. So there's another callers now. $70 will file your case today. Don't wait. Get your bankruptcy free consultation now or complete the above form. So we've repeated again. So this looks really, I think what I'd probably want to see is what the step-by-step processes are. So I don't really know, as I said before, anything about bankruptcy. You've got bankruptcy, the facts, chapter 7 and chapter 13, not quite sure what's involved there. But I think that it would be more useful to have on here some information just about really how to what's the step-by-step sort of overall service process, if you like. I think I'd want to look at that a little bit clearer. I think just having this information here doesn't really necessarily tell me that. Sorry, I've just got to pause because the phone's ringing. I shall be 1 second. Okay, so I think that having an area on the page that just sort of has an overview of what the process is would be very important. And I think it would be more useful at this time and this stage in the website to actually have the free consultation there. So maybe flip them around a little bit. I would also like to see the information that you've got up here, why choose us, summarized somewhere on this page. Why should I choose Koehler bankruptcy? How can you make my experience the best? Why should I trust you? What's your top 5 or 6 selling reasons? What's your positive reasons that I should be using you? What can you offer me? And I would actually summarize them in a small space on the home page, simply headed why choose us. Maybe I'll have a look at this page in a minute, but it might be that you need to just simply put a list of those points on the first page rather than have them on a separate navigation. The other thing that I don't see on this page, which is hugely important, is a client testimonial. You've got a quote from Lloyd here saying, you know, what he thinks about how he wants to treat his clients, but I personally would want to see what some clients think of him and of the business and how he dealt with their bankruptcy. Is he the right person? So I think you've got to have some sort of client testimonial displayed on the home page. Really important. Customer endorsements, really important, particularly where you're looking for a service from someone. You want to know that they can provide and are able to provide the best possible service. So you need to get a customer endorsement out on the top near the on the home page. Okay, so where would I go next? I think I'm just going to go through link by link really. Bankruptcy facts. Now, as I said, I know nothing about the process. To be fair, I don't quite know what chapter 7 bankruptcy and chapter 13 bankruptcy is for. They must be 2 different types of bankruptcy maybe. So are they just given the terms chapter 7 and chapter 13? Again, you know, there's quite a lot of text on here. Is there any way you could introduce some sort of image or annotation or chart, table? It's just a little bit boring, wordy text. It's nice to see the text broken up with a relevant image or article or diagram, something just to break up the text. Might be something to consider. There also seems to be a lot of space over on this side of the page, and it might be that you actually are having considering putting adverts in. I don't know, but it just looks like it's not quite laid out. You need a right toolbar on here to maybe introduce some more content and even up the page a little bit. So I would expect when I come here to have bankrupt chapter 7 and chapter 13 bankruptcy introduced. So I've come to this page headed bankruptcy facts, and this is where I would expect to then get to the bottom of the page and to say there are two types of bankruptcy, chapter 7 and chapter 13. Read about them here. So why should I click to chapter 7 bankruptcy and chapter 13? So it says here a little explanation about the qualifications for chapter 7 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 means test. It costs you nothing. Some people think they just can't afford a lawyer to file bankruptcy. Okay. So I seem to think that I've only got to pay $70 for this to happen, or are there more charges involved? And again, I don't really know the difference between chapter 7 and chapter 13. This just sort of says what each is about, but I wouldn't really know which one to pick. I would assume that you would tell me whether I need chapter 7 or chapter 13. So perhaps just explain the two routes a bit more. Why should I actually look? It also says here only $70 to start your case and stop the creditor calling. So that's the initial fee, presumably, but what other fees are involved? I think I'd want to know a little bit about that as well. So why choose us? This should really convince me that you are the right person for it. It's good here that you've said that how many cases that you've actually worked on. You do say that you have other members of staff, and I would quite like to see on this page a picture of your members of staff. You don't have an About Us page as well, and About Us pages are really important. So I'd quite like to see on this page, if it's telling me a little bit more about you, who you are. So I've seen an image of Lloyd Koehler, I think, on the home page. It doesn't actually say that, but I'm sure that is. So I might like to see more images on this page to show me the rest of the team and give it really a personality. I think that's quite important to get across who I'm actually dealing with. So let me read a bit more about your team, who you actually work with. Now, client info. So is client info right? Okay, so client info is just telling me about the payments. So presumably this would involve more costs. There's nothing here about the costs. It said $70 to start, but there's nothing here telling me about how much extra I've got to pay. It also, I think, would be useful to see here some sort of case studies. I was hoping that this page, client info, would have maybe client case studies, so it would actually tell me some specific examples about cases that you've actually been successful in, and there's not, unless this is further on in the website. But I'm quite surprised that this page, it seems quite brief. And what does client info actually mean? Is it the process, or I think how it works might be better than client info, and then be very clear to, as I've said on the home page, to have a brief introduction as to the step-by-step process. This should be even in more depth, the step-by-step process. So tell me how it works, basically, and I think heading this up, how it works, would be quite useful. Contact, I think we've already done. So it's actually got your location here. Obviously, you must have people that are coming in. I'm surprised that contact to me, is it the same page as this one? Right. Contact to me would actually have the form on. So I think the form, this form, probably you want to repeat on a couple of the other pages. The free consultation, contact us now. That should appear perhaps after you've told me why choose you. So the why choose us page just sort of finishes. So if I've read it and I think, yeah, you're right, I want someone who has all these qualities, and now I want to get in contact with you. Oh, how do I do it? So I think you should pretty much use this space to display that contact form, because at all these stages you should be giving me the opportunity to complete the form and get in contact with you. And I think just by leaving the contact form on the home page, as I said right at the start, it's too premature to display it then. I actually want to read a bit about you and then contact you. So I might think, oh great, I'm going to contact you on this page here, and I come here and I've just got a map, but I might live, you know, miles away from Indiana. So I actually would consider having the contact page also displayed on this page. That's quite important. You've got your number and you've got your address. You don't have an email address on there, so I would also display your email address. That's quite important. FAQs, very useful page. FAQs really, I think they're a good way of giving some more general background information, questions that you might have running through your head that you want to ask, but they're not that important that I'd have to pick up the phone and ask you. So having those typical types of questions that I would like to find out about is quite a good idea. So these are a few sort of myths about bankruptcy. They're not really FAQs, are they? I would say they are, as you say, myths to dispel mistaken ideas. They're not FAQs. I would actually have, yeah, I'm not sure if FAQs is the right title. It could be common mistakes or misconceptions about bankruptcy rather than FAQs. Newsroom is just presumably going to be a straightforward sort of blog or links to different stories, which it's very grey, isn't it? It's very plain, very bland. I can't see myself coming here and wanting to read any of these stories. It's just uninspiring. There's nothing to make me sit up and be interested in it. So maybe you need to inject some images, break up the text a bit. How we help. Now, this is the last tab on the page, and right, so I've got to pick up one of these. So I don't know what garnishments are. Stop garnishments is, so are these sort of your different services, or are these all to do with bankruptcy? So if I file for bankruptcy, will it stop all of these, or are these individual services that you actually provide? I'm not quite sure. Stop payday loans. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if these come under as separate services, or if these are part and parcel of the bankruptcy process. I'd need to read them in more detail, but it's not clear if these, as I say, are sub services that you offer, or if all of these will stop when I file for bankruptcy. I think you should have a page that when I click on how we help, it actually takes me to a page where it says Koehler Law can help you in several different areas. 1, we can do bankruptcy. 2, we can stop garnishments. 3, we can stop foreclosure. Or if they are all part and parcel of the same thing, say Koehler Law helps you file for bankruptcy. In doing so, you will stop garnishment, stop foreclosure. I'm just not sure how these actually sit and where they sit under the actual bankruptcy process, if you get my meaning. So there's nothing else that I've actually seen about how much the process costs. I keep seeing $70, but I would imagine that's just the start of it. So what other fees are involved? I still wouldn't know exactly what the process is. Do I have to meet with you and give you all my paperwork? I will have a look at the content, but I feel that the purpose of these 20-minute overviews are that I should know what the process is without reading word for word everything on your website. So I'd want to know the process a little bit more. And the other thing, as I've mentioned, that's really missing are case studies and testimonials, client testimonials from people who have used you before and can say how successful you were in filing their case and how great it is to be debt free and stress free. There's nothing to actually show. If you can get people to show and want to be on this case, on this website, I think you've got to have some sort of public testimonial from some of your previous clients. If they don't want to be named, then just have Mr. S from wherever, and just to at least show me that you do have previous clients and that some of them have come forward and want to say what a great job you did. There's nothing to tell me that on this website. So I hope that those are valid points. This is just my opinion coming here as a fresh pair of eyes and someone who knows nothing about the bankruptcy process or bankruptcy laws. I will summarise this in a report and get it sent over to you, and I hope that that's helped and given you a few ideas of how you might want to make a few changes on the site to help the user experience. So thank you very much for your business.